Get on the ground.
What's wrong?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened? What happened? What happened?
A 17-year-old kid is riding his bike to get a haircut on a sunny afternoon, and out of nowhere, police tackle him off that bike, slam him to the ground, and put him in handcuffs. He is not a suspect in anything he actually did. He robbed no one. His only crime, in the eyes of these officers, was that his clothes sort of looked like what a bank robber was wearing. And here is the detail that turns this from a mistake into something much worse. Someone at the scene said, out loud, "That is not him." And they took him down anyway.
I said, stay here or follow me, and I'm going to go check it out. So hopefully he's over there 170 Burleigh still, and I can ask him.
I mean, we just came from his dad's house. We're on the way home from church. He's on his way to work.
Okay. Well, I had to act. Somebody telling me.
Okay, but I'm telling you this is my grandson.
Yes, and I know.
This is my best friend. We've known him since he was a baby.
All right, and I'm certainly glad that that guy was mistaken or wanted to put me on a route or something, and it's not actually occurring. So I apologize. Oh, he's going to be released? Absolutely.
This is one of those cases where the body camera does not just show you a bad moment, it shows you the exact instant police stopped caring whether they had the right person. My name is Ben, and I am a criminal defense attorney, and I want to tell you why this case should scare you even if you have never committed a crime in your life, because that is the whole point. This teenager did nothing. He was a kid on a bike, and that did not protect him at all. So here is what I want you to watch for. There are two facts these officers had, right in front of them, that should have made this stop impossible, and they blew past both. There is a legal line between a hunch and actual justification, and I am going to show you exactly where these officers crossed it. And there is a moment later on, once they realize they have the wrong person, where an officer appears to change his story about why he stopped this kid in the first place. And that single move is the most damaging thing in this entire case. Stay with me, because understanding this one is the difference between knowing your rights and just hoping the police feel like respecting them. Let me set the scene. This is Boulder, Colorado. It is daytime. There has been a bank robbery, and police are looking for the person who did it. Now, I want to be completely fair here, because that matters. A bank robbery is a serious crime. The police absolutely should be out looking for the suspect. That part is legitimate. Nobody is arguing that police should ignore a robbery. So when officers are scanning the area for someone who matches the description, the beginning of this is real police work. The problem is not that they were looking. The problem is who they grabbed, and how, and what they ignored to do it. Watch the footage here.
The citizen laying me down, maybe either behind me or over at 170 Burleigh. Okay.
Stop! Get on the ground.
What's wrong?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened? What happened? What happened?
Because this teenager, Galileo Wise, is just riding his bike through an underpass on his way to a haircut. He is not fleeing. He is not hiding. He is a kid on a bicycle in the middle of the day, and officers move in and take him to the ground.
Okay.
Stop! Get on the ground.
What's wrong?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened? What happened? What happened?
So let me teach you the rule that this entire case turns on, because it is the rule that is supposed to protect every single one of us from exactly this. To stop and detain you, police cannot act on a vibe. The Fourth Amendment requires what the courts call reasonable suspicion, and that means specific, articulable facts that connect you to a crime. Not a feeling, not a maybe. Facts. And when you escalate to tackling someone and putting them in handcuffs,
I'm thinking we'll just order that black guy out, hands up, and have
Why is being stopped? Instead, Myers grabbed him off the bicycle, drove him into the pavement, and restrained him.
on your knees. On your knees. Keep your hands up. Don't move. You understand? You understand not to move? You good, Luke?
122, our caller hung up. They said they were trying to stop him.
Stand up. Stay in the car.
you are now in the territory of a full seizure, which demands even more. So the question in this case is simple. What specific facts actually connected this particular teenager to that bank robbery? And the answer, the honest answer, is almost nothing. A general description of clothing. That is it. And a clothing description is one of the weakest, most unreliable things in all of policing. Because on any given day, in any given city, hundreds of people are wearing a dark shirt or a hoodie or whatever the vague description was. A description of clothes is not a description of a person.
A male white, wearing a white shirt and gray shorts. Took tags off sunglasses, now is wearing them and sitting at the bar, and security said they're going to stop him once he walks out.
All right, Luke. I think there's two females in the front and one black guy in the back. All right. I'm thinking we'll just order that black guy out, hands up, and have him.
So why is being stopped?
Now here is where it goes from a weak stop to an indefensible one. And this is the first fact they had and ignored. Age. According to the reporting on this case, the actual bank robbery suspect was a grown man, described as being in his 40s. Galileo Wise is 17 years old. 17. That is not a close call. That is not two people who could be confused in a crowd. That is a grown adult versus a high school kid. The gap between a 40-something-year-old man and a 17-year-old is enormous, and it is exactly the kind of thing that is supposed to rule someone out instantly. They had a description that did not match the most basic, most obvious feature of the person in front of them, and they took him down anyway. And here is the second fact, the one that should have ended it completely. Someone said it was not him. On the scene, the words "that is not him" were spoken, and the officers proceeded to tackle and cuff this kid regardless. Think about what that means. The doubt was not something a lawyer dug up months later. The doubt was right there, out loud, in the moment. And instead of pausing, instead of confirming, instead of doing the 10 seconds of verification that being a professional requires, they went hands-on with a child.
I apologize. Oh, he's going to be moved. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a silly thing.
Repeated a similar explanation to Galileo's mother over the phone.
So what happened was there was an armed robbery with a gun.
And the last? What is it? What's your last name? Spell it for me. What is your date of birth? Sorry? You gotta speak up with the traffic, with the radio. I honestly, God, can't hear you.
I don't know.
A woman just for you killed.
The reason I had to stop you right away without getting
You want that? You don't know it? Okay.
Then I might
Do you stay with
lose
Grandma?
sight of the actual car.
Sometimes? What do you usually do?
By the time I get
Every rule of policing says that the second real doubt enters the picture, you slow down. They sped up. Now let me give the officers their strongest argument, because I always do, and because if I do not, I am just another outraged voice on the internet. Their side sounds like this. We had a serious crime, a bank robbery, and in those situations we have to act fast. We cannot let a suspect get away, and this young man matched the description we were given, so we detained him to sort it out. And I will grant the first part. Speed matters when a dangerous suspect is loose. But here is where that argument falls apart. Acting fast is not the same as acting blind. The urgency of a bank robbery does not lower the standard for who you are allowed to tackle. If anything, grabbing the wrong person wastes the very time they claim they were trying to save, because while they had a 17-year-old face down on the ground, the actual robber was somewhere else entirely. Urgency explains why they were looking. It does not excuse who they took down, especially with the age mismatch and someone telling them that is not him. And now, we get to the part I promised you, the single most damaging moment in the whole case. Because once it becomes clear that this kid is not the robber, the story of why he was stopped appears to shift.
A male white, wearing a white shirt and gray shorts. Took tags off sunglasses, now is wearing them and sitting at the bar, and security said they're going to stop him once he walks out.
Alright, Luke, I think there's two females in the front and one black guy in the back. Alright? I'm thinking we'll just order that black guy out, hands up, and have him...
Why is being stopped? Instead, Myers grabbed him off the bicycle, drove him into the pavement, and restrained him.
On your knees. On your knees. Keep your hands up.
Based on the lawsuit and the footage, an officer offers a changed explanation for the stop after the fact. And I need you to understand why that is the tell that lawyers live for. When the original justification for a stop is solid, it does not need to change. It stays the same before, during, and after, because it was true. When an officer reaches for a new reason after the fact, it is usually because the first reason will not survive contact with a courtroom. A shifting story is not a detail. It is often the whole case, because it suggests the real reason for the stop was never good enough to begin with, and everyone involved knew it. So what happened to this teenager? He was tackled, handcuffed, and searched, in public, as a child, for a crime he had nothing to do with, based on clothing, despite an age gap of decades, despite someone saying it was not him. And now his family has filed a lawsuit against the Boulder Police Department for wrongful arrest and excessive force.
I said, stay here or follow me, and I'm going to go check it out. So hopefully he's over there 170th Burleigh still, and I can ask him.
I mean, we just came from his dad's house. We're on the way home from church. He's on his way to house.
Okay. Well, I had to act. Somebody's telling me.
Okay, but I'm telling you this is my grandson.
Yes, and I know.
This is my best friend. I've known him since he was a baby.
All right, and I am certainly glad that that guy was mistaken or wanted to put me on a roof or something, and it's not actually occurring. So I apologize. Oh, he's going to be released? Absolutely.
As of now, there is no settlement number to put on the screen. And honestly, this case was never about a number. It is about the fact that being completely innocent, being a literal child on a bike, did not stop any of this from happening. The only thing that protects him now is the same thing that protects you, the footage. So here's what I need you to take from this for your own life, because the lesson is bigger than one kid in Boulder. You cannot talk your way out of a bad stop in the moment, and you definitely cannot fight your way out of one on the pavement. If police come at you, even when you are completely innocent, even when it is insane, you do not resist, you do not run, you keep your hands visible, and you survive the encounter. You say, calmly, I have not done anything, I do not consent to any searches, and I want a lawyer. And then, you let the cameras and the courtroom do the work, because that is where an innocent person actually wins. Galileo Wise did not get justice on that street. The street is where they had all the power. He gets his justice in a lawsuit, with body camera footage that shows the whole world he was a kid on a bike who never should have been touched. If this one got to you the way it got to me, do me one quick favor, because about 99% of the people watching this right now are not subscribed. Tap that subscribe button, because I break down a real case just like this one every single day, and the next one might be the thing that protects you or someone you love. And do yourself a favor, put a dash cam in your car, because in cases like this, the footage is the entire difference between a false story and the truth. If you want to help this video reach more people, hit that hype button under it. It genuinely helps a channel this size get seen.